Good morning. Ba, ba, da, ba, 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 ba. It is Monday. It is SPTV. Welcome to get your week started with a bang. And we're back with you this morning, and it will be filled with joy. Good morning, Karen Wood. How are
Good,
you?
good morning, Nick. I'm good, apart from mosquito bites, but apart from that, I'm tickety-boo. Thank you very much.
I love that.
Tickety-boo. I love
It's
that word.
There are
Tickety-boo.
certain words that express the meaning behind them in such a tickling way, isn't it? And tickety-boo is definitely one of
Yes,
them. So what have you been up
yes.
to, Karen?
Well, I've had a lovely weekend. On Saturday, I went to a party for a lovely gentleman who was 90 years young on Saturday. And so we had fun catching up with people I hadn't seen for ages, met a new baby and had a little cuddle. So that was lovely. Yeah, it was just that. So that was good. Although the trains were a little bit iffy, but that was fine. Then yesterday, I just chilled out at home and rested my leg with my mosquito bites. But apart from that, all is well in Karen's world. What have,
Wonderful.
what have you been up to?
Well, I've again been busy, been doing some workshops, been doing some work. I served Huntington Spiritualist Church last evening, where there was a beautiful tribute to a very well-known local medium, Patsy Hanson.
Mm,
She is a gorgeous person. She was one of the trustees for Huntington for literally decades. And
yeah,
she's one of those unsung heroes that people miles away might not have heard of her, but round here we know exactly who she is because of the way she just got on with it and done what needed to be done. And there was a beautiful tribute from the President Kim last night. I had a few words to say as well because obviously
lovely.
anyone from our neck of the woods has heard of Patsy, and she's such a true stalwart of the way of life, not seeking any attention, not seeking any glory, just doing for each other, working
Yeah,
within the present to preserve the future. And she was so lovely, real
oh,
force to
lovely,
be reckoned with.
lovely,
So it
lovely.
was a lovely tribute to her during and before
Good,
the service. And so,
good,
yes,
good.
Huntington last night, met up a few old
Okay.
friends, had fun, basically.
Thank you, Linda. I'll do that when I come off there. Rub the vinegar on them to stop them itching. Thank you very much. I'll bear that
Excellent.
in mind. I knew somebody would come up with a little remedy for me, so thank you very much. That's really weird, Nick, because Huntington. I was in Huntington on Saturday. That's where the party was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Cross
the
paths.
husband, the Ken, whose birthday it was, his wife Eve, is I've known the family for over 30 years, and Eve was my first spiritual teacher. And she was involved in Huntingdon Spiritual Church and serves it as well as a medium. But she's been poorly recently, so she hasn't been able to serve. But I went past the church on my way out of Huntingdon in the taxi to the station, and I said to William, my son, I said, "Oh, look, this Huntingdon, and I've served it," and I gave it away. And I didn't realise you were there on Sunday, so that's quite
Yeah.
amazing, isn't it? Yeah,
It was,
yeah.
people talk about the synchronicities within this way of life, and I don't think we can ever talk about them enough.
Oh God,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
because obviously, Patsy passed away on the 15th. Um, and I was driving on the way over there, and I thought, I know we're going to talk about Patsy in some way. I don't know what the church has got planned, but I think it would be appropriate if I said a few words in the address, or maybe even tune
Yeah.
the address to that subject, of which I said, "Is that okay?" As you do.
Mm,
And
mm.
I just pulling into Huntington just before the church. Um, and the whole field beside there's like a park as you go into Huntington,
Yeah,
full of
yeah,
sunflowers,
yeah.
full
Saw it
of
Saturday. Yeah,
sunflowers. And
yeah,
Yeah, that's what they're on. But yes, it is agreed. But yeah, it's I love the synchronicities, and of course the sunflower being the oldest symbol of spiritualism,
Yes,
really,
yes.
in its modern form is just a wonderful, wonderful thing. Good morning, Chris Jacobs. Love to you
Morning,
too.
Chris. Lots of love. Lots of love. Yeah, do you know what? I love that word, synchronicity.
Yes.
It's one of my favorite words to use because I love it when things come together and they make sense. And I always get that sort of nice feeling when everything's synchronized and working in the right way. So
Yeah.
I suppose we better say a few hellos this morning to our wonderful SPTV family and find out what they've been doing over this weekend.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Ah,
So, what's your name? Where'd you come from? Don't forget, share, like, and subscribe. I've got to say thank you to everyone who joined us last week. I think we were close on, if not broken, a record for Monday morning views, which was beautiful. Let's see if we can beat it again, shall we? Um,
absolutely,
so
absolutely.
share, tell everyone we're here. Like Cheryl, who has said, good morning to you.
Morning, Cheryl. It's good to share and it's good to care, I think. Hello, lovely Linda, Mama Brown. Nice to see you, and thank you for the tip about the vinegar.
And here she is. It's Kelly Recker. Good day, Kelly. Good to see you.
Oh, another Cheryl, Cheryl Connings. Hello to you. A lovely big smiley face there.
I don't. And here he is, Mr. Payne himself. Good morning to you. And I love seeing that hat of a Monday morning.
I know, I know. Morning, Neil, and morning, Anna Hayes. Nice photo there.
And Sam B's joining us. Welcome along. Good to see you.
Hello, Sam. Here's lovely Helen Mansell. Nice to see you.
And Victoria Witcher. Good morning. Oh, look at that doggy.
I know. Louise Passmore. Hi to you. Nice to see you.
Good morning. And good morning to Judith Somerville. Good morning to you.
Hello, Agla. Nice to see you.
And Spirit of Love has joined us in more ways than one. Good morning. How you doing?
Hello, Alison. Happy Monday to you.
And Ben Davis is all the way from Leicester, which isn't too far from thee
No,
or me, actually. Hello there.
absolutely. Good morning, Chrissy. Nice to see you.
And Leslie Manning is all the way from Buckinghamshire. Good morning.
Morning. Hello, Barbara. And Barbara is all the way from Colorado in the US of A. Lovely.
Whee! I love Colorado. Caroline Oates Kelly. Good morning, lovelies. Good morning, lovely to you.
Hello, Eunice. Lovely to have you with us once again.
And Jordan Richards, what a delightful man. Good morning, beautiful weekend doing trance workshop with Graham Lima. Good morning to you both. Good morning to you, my friend. Lovely to see you all.
Morning, Jordan. Hello, Nikki. Nice to see you.
Hello, hello, hello. And Rachel Harwoods from Hertfordshire and is with us today.
Janet Archibald. Good morning. Nice to see you.
And I love your emoji. And of course, hello to the absolutely gorgeous Reverend Ashley Oliver. Good morning, Dream Team. Oh, is that sweet? Good morning, my.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
It
Thank
certainly
you.
is an opportunity here saying hello to Ashley. Because, Karen, you've got some details of a new show, haven't you?
I have. Ashley is one of our hosts on SPTV, and her show is coming back on Thursday at 7 p.m. So wait for this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be mystical, and we're going to be looking at manifestation. She's going to be talking about crystals and priestesses and near-death experiences, and also she's going to have some guests to join her. So that's going to be on a Thursday at 7 p.m. So Ashley is a wonderful lady with lots of knowledge to share. So don't miss it.
Absolutely. One of the first people to drag me online was the lovely Ashley. She got
Yeah.
me right, got me right in the feels because she said, "Come online and talk about philosophy." Well, I was done. She knows exactly how to get me, and such honesty, such compassion, and gentleness with a twist of certainty is such a wonderful combination for any spiritual being, and I know that you are going to love her show. So do go along and see what it's all about. And we do have one very serious notice to
Yes,
remind people of, don't we, Karen?
we do.
You were even invited to be a friend, weren't you, over the weekend?
Yes, I was. I received a friend's request from somebody who is not Richard and not SPTV. So I thought, hang on a minute, something's not right here. So I sent Richard a text, and it looks like someone is pretending to be SPTV. So please don't get fooled, because once you, as always, once you get, you accept that friend request, then you start getting asked for money, etc., etc. So SPTV, we would never solicit or ask for money. So don't get fooled by new friend requests going around, because it is not Richard and it is not SPTV. So yes, there you go.
Because in actual fact, I think it would be fair to say and truthful to say that Richard doesn't use the Facebook page to send any friends
No,
requests.
no.
It's just not how he rolls, because it's our job as viewers to hit the like. So he's not going to go around, dragging people in, kicking and screaming. So
Mm,
that's usually the first giveaway. If you've got a friend's request from SPTV, it's fake. Um,
absolutely.
it's not going to be Richard.
No,
Um,
no, no.
but I have to say, it was great to see the response to the return of SPTV throughout the whole week. Um,
Absolutely.
it was
Yeah,
absolutely wonderful. So thank you, everyone. Let's keep that
yeah,
momentum going. Let's let the
yeah.
world know what's going on. Big changes, big twists, big surprises, big adventures all the way when it comes to SPTV. That will
Definitely.
never change. But another thing that will never change is that Richard will definitely not send you a friend's request. So excellent stuff and exciting times. Now we've mentioned it a couple of times en route, haven't we? And of
Mm.
course, if you are online with us, either on Facebook or YouTube, and haven't said hello, feel free to, because it's your show. Yeah, Neil is absolutely right. People have nothing to
Absolutely right, Neil. Yeah, yeah.
we it is your show, so yeah. And certainly, those that are on YouTube can't always see the comments, so that's why we explained what was going on with the special notice that is plastered all over Facebook. Um,
Yes.
but the one thing that we were discussing before we started, of course, was about the importance of words. And you've touched on it a couple of times, in the run up to
Mm, mm.
being where we are right now. I think for me, one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to about words is because they are so important. They are a method of communication. They are central to mediumship, because communication is key and core. And I don't know
Yeah.
about you, Karen, but I feel the more we grow technologically, the more we, reach out to the four corners of the earth and maybe even beyond, the
Hmm.
less we seem to communicate. We go
Yes.
through these cycles of simplifying communication, which then removes purpose and meaning. I know I go on about this all the time, but this is one of the reasons why I love the Golden Chain recitations, the 10 spiritual commandments, in unison and in equality to the seven principles. because the 7 principles are the summary of the 10. And when you don't consider the 10, you're losing context, you're losing detail. The 7 principles are a good lasso, but once you've pulled people in with the 7 principles, these are the 10 commandments of which they originally came from. We call them a charter, but that's what Emma Hoddings Britton called them, the commandments. This is the detail, the depth, the context. Richard was mentioning beforehand about text messages. And, you know, he was absolutely right. When we send texts, there's no context, there's no inflection, there's no tone. And as he said, you quite often have to put LOL at the end of everything, or a smiley or a heart, to underpin that you're actually not having a pop. And they say that the pen is mightier than the sword for good reason. But I think what also is a problem is not only the lack of communication in relation to words, but the recycling and reshaping of words. The English language is seen as quite a complex and weird language in terms of the way we use words and change those meanings. And there are plenty of words, if you look, that are, I can't believe I'm about to say this, propagated and promulgated by 1 or 2 people in important places saying them, and then suddenly everyone grabs hold of them and recycles them and uses them, and doesn't always get the context right, but then the popular use takes over and those words are changed in meaning. And I've got to say it, one of those words is woke. Woke literally means awake to a situation. And now it's become a dirty word. We need to be more responsible as a society in terms of not getting caught up in the usage of words, and actually open a blooming dictionary once in a while. And see what these words mean. This is why I love using fancy and silly and daft words. I mean, one of my favorites, as you know, Karen, and as many people know because I use it a lot now, one of my favorites is gesticulate. I love the word gesticulate. It gets people talking. It gets people looking at me like I'm a nut job. I use words for humor. I use words, but also to educate. And I think, oh, yeah, very, very true.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy, and he was like you, Nick. He loved words and he loved using them in his dictation. You know, so I used to have to sort of like have a thesaurus. This is going back, you know, by my side to look up the words so that I understood what he was saying in the context to the letter, to the contract, to whatever. Because and I learned quite a few words from him. And you know, it's that old adage, isn't it? Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. You know, if you say it loud enough, it sounds quite precocious. And the thing is, sometimes people throw the words in to throw people off. So he used to do that sometimes, to throw people off when he was in meetings, in the language he used in his you know, when he was sending out his correspondence. So it can do that. But it also, you know, if you don't know a word, look it up and learn from it. Don't take umbrage about it that you don't under. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. But words can be a little bit confusing sometimes, and sometimes people can use them to throw a person off. But I'm a great believer in keeping it simple, to a degree. But I do love the English language and always have, and I love listening to people sort of eloquate the English language so beautifully. But you know, I do personally like to keep it simple. Although sometimes people say to me, "Well, what does that mean, Karen?" So I always use words that I know what they mean.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really kind of like going back to what Richard was just downloading a moment ago. Oh, and Chrissy Wheatley, hunky dory and tickety boo, absolutely.
That's
Words that
yeah,
sound like what they mean.
yes,
Richard was just saying when people use big words, he likes to ask them, so what does that mean then? Because sometimes they don't know what it means. And this is where now that word that Mother has just shared, flocky knocky nigh hilly tillification. I was coming to that. I Yes, Richard has just pointed out. I
we
know
knew
these
that
fancy
was
words, but I
coming. We
can't
knew that
pronounce
was
my T's. Well, it's funny really because Mum just mentioned the word flocky knocky nigh hilly tillification. At least when I don't know what a word means, I am honest about it. I was stood in the co-op the other day, and I overheard this conversation between a lovely couple, and they were talking about the word anti-disestablishmentarianism. And this young lad who was part of the couple, he says, "Well, of course, you do know that's kind of like a double negative." And she went, "What? It's a double negative. Anti and disestablishment means that you're for the establishment." She said, "Well, why is it a word then? Why can't this?" And they was having this conversation, and he could see me grinning at his explanation.
yeah.
And we got talking about words, and I mentioned the word flocky knocky nigh hilly tillification. And he said, "What does that mean?" And I, at the time, I had to say, actually, my grandfather used to tell me this word all the time, but I can't actually remember what it means. And so I went and sat in the car, put my shopping in the car. And the first thing I did was jump on Google and Google it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's flocky knocky nigh hilly tillification is basically to um, mean what is being said as worthless. So for me to say propagate and promulgate, people might deem that as a flocky knocky nihilitilification in itself because it's a
Mm.
worthless rubbish statement. My use of words might be deemed as a flocky knocky nihilitilification. But I never learned. Yes, that too. I'm not allowed to repeat what our producer just said in the back
No, no,
because he'd tell me
no.
off. But
Mm.
it's very, very true what he said. But this is the thing about words. I've been accused of being well educated over the years. I'm like my grandfather. I got my dictionaries out. I
Mm.
got a D for English language and an E for English literature. I did not do well at school, but I just picked up a dictionary and a thesaurus. And now I don't even do that because you've got it all on one of these. You know,
Well, I know, that is the wonder of our technology these days. But it's interesting because you can sort of get by uh, if you appear to know what you're talking about. Um, and I find that sometimes when I was growing up, if you came from a certain background or you didn't have the education where they used all the posh words, then you were sort of put into different categories, different boxes. But now things are different because everybody can sort of have all this information right at their fingertips. Tap into Google. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about that. There's so many courses and things where people can move forward. You could do an English language or an English literature O level, A level on online, and I think it's more open to people. But what always fascinates me is the little things like tickety boo, hunky dory, the sayings that we use, and we just assume that people understand them.
yes,
And it's interesting, and a lot of it is generational. A lot of it is. I was watching a lovely. I haven't finished watching it yet, but I was watching a lovely film with called Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and she's this lovely London lady that's going on a trip. She's got some money and she wants to buy a dress from Christian Dior, and she's just so down to earth, and the things that she comes out with just reminded me of sort of like my childhood and growing up in London. So it is interesting how sayings, how words can define a generation, but also it can be interesting how we can just use them and not realize that somebody might not understand what we mean. So,
Yeah.
like tickety boo, if I said that to um, my one of my American friends, she writes down every time I use a colloquialism or something. So tickety boo, hunky dory, because they don't know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
it's interesting. It's
And you're
interesting.
right about the colloquialisms as well. That just makes it even more complicated. I did a song of the morning, and it was gonna be by the Proclaimers, and I felt appropriate to explain what haver means. Um, Also, mainly because I do a lot of it myself. Um, and for me, I think it is telling when people use words and you challenge them and they can't explain what they are. If they're honest about it, that's different. But I
Yeah.
think we must always try and do, and I can't believe I am saying this, but there was a method in communication that St. Paul used in his letters, or at least the author of those letters used, and that's triple explanation. So rather than just saying, I gesticulate, the explanation would be, I gesticulate, I motion, I indicate with my hands. So it's three different layers of explanation, three different
Mm.
descriptive words. What that does is it reaches everyone,
Yes. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
also
I see
it
that.
does give us what those meanings are by looking in the context.
Mm.
In terms of what Richard was saying about text messages, we don't always need that sideways context because our faces give that context. Our tone gives that context. One of the things that
Yeah.
I love about the way Spirit make me work is that they give context in the voice. I know that the person that's working with me was a grump, depending on how
Yes.
they get me speaking. Um, I, I
Yeah.
I know how
Yeah.
how naughty they are if they suddenly get all giggly and light and kind of really really fluttery. And I just love the sound of words because words paint a picture.
Mm.
And so if I use a daft or a weird or an unusual word, then absolutely it's because I'm trying to paint a picture. But I tell you
Yes.
what, people complain about me using big words, but it always becomes a talking point. What did that
Mm.
word mean, Nick? And then we start talking about the meaning behind
Absolutely.
that word. So the purpose for how I use them, at least, is served because we have a conversation and we then look at the nuances of the conversation and the meanings behind these things, which is why, as well as a dictionary and a thesaurus, I think that we should always use etymology as well.
Mm.
Etymology is so vital to look at meanings of words. I loved what Ashley said earlier. The co-op I go to is quite erudite. Absolutely. Um,
It all happens in the co-op,
it all
obviously.
happens in a co-op. Obviously, other supermarkets are available, of course. Um, Not so much in Littleport, mind you. But when it comes to the etymology of words, the root of the words, where they originally come from, one of the
Mm.
words that I use in explaining this importance, and then we must probably move on because I know I'm. But the word Lord in the Bible, people see as quite a hard line, very dictatorial, very authoritative word.
Mm.
But the
Mm.
etymology of the usage of the word Lord in context of being used in the Bible actually comes from the meaning bread keeper, the keeper and distributor of bread. Now, that's
Yeah.
the way I see the Great Spirit providing sustenance and dividing it equally amongst all, because that was originally the job of the Lord, not to be in
Yeah,
control,
that's true.
not to over.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
puts new context to why that word is being used, rather than saying, "Oh, I don't like it." Look at why it's being used, because you can find out so much more detail about what's being said and why it's being said, and it can protect you from being feeling deceived, upset, or aggravated.
Mm, mm. Oh, have we? Oh,
Oh, oh,
it looks like we got some problems then. Oh dear,
when
that's
when
a shame.
gesticulation causes problems. How ironic.
Possibly. Don't know. So we've been kicked, so nobody can hear us. Can they hear us on YouTube? All
Oh,
right.
sorry.
Oops.
Right, so for all of those that are currently with us on YouTube, can somebody stick a message on Facebook that for some reason there is a feature that has blocked us on Facebook? Um,
Yeah, sadly,
Apologies
so
for the
people can hear.
break in conversation. It turns out that either my words or my hands have broken Facebook. Um, oh, you can hear us. Um,
Ah,
oh,
all right.
so we
So
either
you
are
can hear
coming
us. Oh, right. So we can hear. We can be heard. Oh, I see. Well,
right.
that's
So
interesting.
if anyone can see us, can you see us? And if you can't, what can you actually see? Just to let us know. Because you're still here on Facebook. It looks like we may have come back. Um, it it right. Okay. This is very very strange. So
Yes.
can someone on Facebook just confirm? Oh, I tell you what. Let me. I know this is
We can.
naughty, but this is an emergency situation. I'm just going to have a quick look. Oh, Richard's having a nosy as well. Um, because this is yeah.
We understand that YouTube is okay. So Agna says we can see you and hear you too.
Oh, yeah. We are still going. Yeah, there we go. We're back.
Oh, we're
So
back.
that was an intro.
Oh, that's all right then.
How peculiar. Yeah,
Oh, right. Okay.
could be an
Okay.
admin side of thing. But yes, it turns out that my hands on my words have broken. Um,
Facebook.
Facebook. Oops. Um,
Oops.
well,
Oops.
you know, it's from an admin point of view. Okay, are we able to have? Are we able to? Yes, thank you. So we're going to take a quick break now to gather our thoughts and gather our words and tie my hands down to the table. And we're going to hear from Kate May as to what's coming up in the next week, which obviously includes being careful where you wave your hands. So, Karen, what time of day is it?
Well, the time of day is 11:04, and it's Roland Richard time.
Good morning, everybody. Here is your week ahead signs. We are on the 19th of August. How did that happen? Full moon in Aquarius. My name's Kate May, Modern Day Mystic. You can catch me on www.katemay.co.uk. Okay. So let's have a look. Aries, your week ahead vibe is the Ten of Wands. So it's a busy week. You might find you've got quite a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. You might find this week you're feeling like you're going uphill, but keep on going. As a 10, it's like you're almost there. You can see the end in sight and it will be worth it. Try not to take on other responsibilities this week, Aries. Try to prioritize things and share the burden where you can, but also know that you're coming to the end of a difficult patch or those uphill struggles. Taurus, you're hanging around this week, Taurus, looking at things, the bigger picture. Neptune energy, so you could be living in your head a little bit. It might be a bit daydreamy this week. And there may be some sacrifices, things you've got to let go, things you've got to move forward. It's all about the bigger picture this week, Taurus, and swinging back and forth and looking at where you want to be in 2 or 3 years rather than 2 or 3 weeks. So making some sacrifices, but this week isn't the week necessarily to make them. It's the week to think about it, to hang in there and to go back and forth and make that choice. Gemini, hallelujah, a big awakening, a big penny dropping moment, Gemini, and a release is coming for you. A decision is made this week that takes you from one stage to another. Cancer, feeling good, feeling comfortable, feeling happy and contented, feeling like you've got your cake and you can eat it. It's a week of you feeling blessed and chuffed. Count your blessings. Leo, money's coming in this week for you, Leo. Good news within property, within jobs, or financial abundance there. Be open to it. It is coming in a little bit more than perhaps 10p. I would say there's some windfall or financial gain coming your way. Good news connected to property or a home situation. Virgo, big changes this week coming in for you, Virgo. You might be not expecting them, so expect the unexpected. But as things change and break down, it allows you to rebuild them later on. But for this week, it's a bit chaotic. Libra, stand in your own power, set boundaries, take charge of things. There could be some promotions for some of you, or where you need to man up a little bit this week, Libras. It's all about being authoritative or setting the tone for these boundaries so that you're in control. Sagittarius, no, it's not, it's Scorpio. Go for it. The Ace of Wands. This is a yes card. This says it's time is now, time is ready. It's excitement, a spark of inspiration comes your way, and it's ready to go for it. There might also be some fertile ideas. So some of you could literally be fertile. Others will be coming up with lots of new thoughts and patterns to create exciting opportunities. So go for it this week, Scorpio. Sagittarius, endings coming in for you. So look at what needs to end this week, Sagittarius. Look at what needs to be finished, what needs to finalise. You've got closure and you've got changes coming in this week. We're done, we're ready for a new chapter. But before we get to that new chapter, we've got to have the endings. So this week, endings. Capricorn, happy ever after. Feeling good, feeling pleased, feeling blessed, feeling contented. It's success for you. What more can you say about this card? Could be some happy family news coming in around you, Capricorn. This is a card for you of success and having all your emotions in a row, all your ducks in a row, no pigeon jumping in, and feeling just happy. It's the happy ever after card and the success card. So what more can you want this week, Capricorns? Aquarius, feeling a bit bored, fed up with situations, feeling like a bit sorry for yourself. Something better is on its way. Don't close yourself off to people or situations, because you might say no, 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 and then all of a sudden something comes in to turn your head or float your boat. So there is a good opportunity on its way. It might take a little while, but the energies are starting to change this week, Aquarius, to bring that good energy in. This is also the card, I mean, we've got the full moon in Aquarius this week, of perhaps having a bit of time out, time to think about what you want, time to contemplate, meditate, but not too long. You don't need to spend too much time on your own this week, Aquarians, otherwise you could feel a bit isolated. So just a little bit of a time out there, but something better is on the horizon. And Pisces, your luck is changing. The wheel of fortune, things are moving in the right direction. If things have been a bit down lately, this card indicates things are going to start to go up. But it's a card of change and chances, and you have to take those changes. So if you're just going to sit and wait, it's not a lot's going to happen. You have to make the first step. Once you start making some changes that you want to see in your life, then the universe is going to respond and bring luck your way.
And we are back, and we are fully functioning, and we are calm, and we are happy. And it turns out that it wasn't my gesticulations, hand movements, and waving that caused the problem. We are back. So hello, everyone, and I hope you had a wonderful reading there. Thank you to the lovely Kate May. Couple of quick announcements. We do have a guest joining us next week, don't we, Karen? We have got the
Yes, we do.
Wonderful
We've
Chris
got the
Jacobs.
Yeah, so Chris is a lovely friend of sptv, and he's coming to join us next week as a guest. So we look forward to chatting with Chris and seeing what he's been up to. So, and obviously he'll be taking questions from people and sharing his wonderful knowledge. So that's exciting. Exciting.
Excellent stuff. So look for, and he is a medium indeed,
Yes.
who I'm sure he will join us in giving a few messages out during the
Yeah.
show as well. I believe he did last time when he came on with us.
He did.
And another thing to say as well, hello, Kim Byrne, of course. In a week where Harrods have already decked out their store with all of their Christmas decorations, your thoughts
No.
might be turning to Christmas. And if
Oh,
your
please
thoughts
don't.
are indeed turning to Christmas, you might like to consider buying an SPTV Oracle deck to give as a Christmas gift. I told you it would wind you up.
Oh,
We were talking about the Oracle deck in the break there, and I said, I'm going to wind you up. I'm going to wind you up. And they said, oh, no, you won't.
we're not even out of August yet. Talking about Christmas. Exactly, Kim. OMG.
Got to get it in there.
Please. I know
Yeah.
people might be thinking about buying their fruit for their Christmas puddings. Absolutely, Linda. No.
But yes, it turns out my other half, we were downstairs and we tend to surf on the sofa and a bit of sofa surfing. And he said, oh, look at this. And so yes, I mean, I remember this is the time of year when we start getting in retail Christmas deliveries. But it turns out that Harrod shared pictures of being all decked out for Christmas. So
Oh,
thoughts will start turning. So why not get in there? There's only 12 decks left. They are limited edition. So if you want to give a nice Christmas present, give a lovely, 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 lovely SPTV Oracle deck. There are only 12 decks left, and Richard will be organising a Zoom explainer workshop kind of thing in the coming weeks on how to use them. But yes, so if you want to dispel that fear of talking about Christmas on the 19th of August, buy an Oracle deck instead.
oh, Nick, honestly, Christmas in August, please, no. It's far too early. It's far too early. We haven't even had autumn and Halloween yet, or bonfire night.
Oh, I
I
know.
don't even
Well,
I don't think about that until they're out the way.
if it winds you up, spare a thought for the poor retailers who have to be
Oh, I know.
ordering their Christmas stock in February and March and receive Easter deliveries on Christmas Eve, because that's what we used to
Yes,
have to go through. And no wonder we couldn't tell what time of year it was. So,
exactly.
yes, spare a
I
thought for
worked in
people.
retail. I've worked in retail. I was loading Cadbury's cream eggs onto the shelves on Boxing Day, so I do understand.
And for anyone who has concerns about talking about it, you all sing I wish it could be Christmas every day when the time comes, so don't blame me.
Blame Noddy Holder.
Hello to Carrie Ann Marshall Cairns. It has been a long time, hello. And I do love your puddy tat.
Hello, Desiree. Lovely to see you. Oh dear. All right. I've got a little. I know we were talking about words earlier, but I've got to ask this question to our wonderful viewers. Has anybody actually decided to start their Christmas shopping yet? Let's see. Richard's just said that he's got a very clever sister because she does her Christmas shopping in January. So actually, my stepdaughter does that as well. So she starts buying throughout the year. If she sees something, she gets it and she puts it away.
Yeah.
My problem is if I did that, I'd forget where I put it, and then I'd be hunting high and low around the house for it. Some people have um, some people have sort of Christmas cupboards. And good morning, Clara. Nice to see you. I forgot to say hello to you, and also I forgot to say hello to Shaz Fairy too because she popped up. So nice to see everybody on. So Kim Burns on summer holiday. So no, exactly, Kim. Olga's still saving, so that's good. So
Trevor did
yes.
say that he's already done half of his, and we used to buy
Oh,
our
Trevor.
decorations in January from the sales to save money next
Yeah.
year. Buy them, stick them in the attic. But
All
yes,
these well-organized people, honestly.
absolutely scary, isn't it?
I like going out. I like going out when all the decorations are out, when the carols are played. It gets you in the mood. I don't want to buy any Christmas shopping when the cozies are on sale when you've got summer sales and all the summer frocks are still on sale. So no, I mean, I know I should be more organised, but I'm not. So there you go. I don't know. I don't know. So we've gone from words and we've started on to Christmas. So that's sort of a strange link there, but there you go. Yes, Helen says her mum buys her Christmas cards in January, sales and presses. I suppose in some ways, at least you could sort of like enjoy Christmas and you're not running around like headless chickens thinking I've got to get so and so, I've got to get this. At least if you do it all in the January sales, then you can just enjoy the run up to Christmas and drink more eggnog and eat more mince pies, I suppose. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Do you want to know when I buy my Christmas presents?
When do you buy your Christmas presents?
Either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. Either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Well, you saying that, it was I'll never forget this. I was working in the shop. It was Valentine's evening, and this guy came in, and all the flowers, all the roses were drooping by that time. They'd had enough, and there was about a couple of bunches, and he picked up a bunch, and I said, "Really?" I said, "Really?" I said, "I think you better pick up that second bunch and throw in a box of chocolates too." I said, "At this time of night, you're buying a Valentine's present." And my manager looked at me as if, "You can't say that to the customers." I said, "If he can walk in here at 9:30, expecting to go away with droopy flowers, he could at least throw in the chocolates too."
It's strange how habits are formed, and it is all about. I know we said that we jumped from words to Christmas, but again, it is all about this one-upmanship and competition. Why it gets so early is because businesses are trying to compete with each other, so they want to be the first. So this year we're going to do it on this date. Well, they did it this day on last year, so move a week forward and we'll be first this year. And before you know it, we'll be starting the Christmas sales on February the 1st. It's all about competition. And Ashley Oliver made a really, really good point earlier in relation to words that ties the two in beautifully with a nice little bow. And that is that the way the word ego in spirituality has been twisted and changed over time, and become a dirty word and an insult and a thing to, keep you in your place. But of course, spirituality doesn't do that to people. I'm afraid we need to take a good hard look at ourselves sometimes as a way of life. Because the way we've used ego, when ego is an awareness of self, it does lead to these problems because it's all about monopolies and competition and one-upmanship. And that's where it all turns a little bit sour. But I know that in SPTV land, we don't have that problem. So.
No, we don't. It's interesting you say that, because I look at that in a different way now too, Nick, because, we talk about spiritualism and we talk about spirituality, and it's about learning about yourself. It's about the awareness of self. So when you learn about yourself and you realize what you need in your life, what you're doing with your life, and you go through transitions and lots of things happen to you, and you do change, and then people say to you, "Oh, you've changed." Well, yes, I have changed because I've been growing, I've been listening, I've been learning. But if you sort of sometimes don't keep up with those people, or if you're looking at things in a different way and they don't like that, then they think they don't like the changes that are happening around you. But the essence of you has always been there, I believe. It's just you're learning about the essence of yourself. You're learning about who you truly are within, and not allowing other things to sort of detract you from that task or that purpose sometimes. But it's you, and yes, you do change, but who you are. I mean, when I found spiritualism, when I decided and started to work as a medium, I was still Karen. I still care. I still try to be kind. I still go out for a laugh and a drink with my friends. I can still have a moan and groan. I'm still me. But I'm learning about the importance of life and the importance of living and the importance of being honest and telling people how you feel, and what matters to you and how much you care about, because that's also
Absolutely.
important as well, to show how much you care, tell people that you love them, and talk. And you said earlier about communication. Communication is wonderful. People want to communicate with the people that have gone to the spirit world, the dead, in sort of, if you think about it in that way. But we've forgotten how to communicate properly with the living.
Yes.
You know, that's the thing. And
Yeah.
we need to do that more. We need to sometimes express our feelings. And yes, we can do that with emails and text, but sometimes those things get misconstrued. I was having a conversation with my letting agent a few months ago, and what I was saying and what she was saying were two different things. And in the end, I had to pick up the phone and say, look, I think you've misconstrued what I was saying. I didn't mean that. I mean this. And if I'd have done that in the first place, I would have, saved an hour of my life typing emails to each other. So I think we
Absolutely.
need to speak. We need to look at a person in the eye. An old boss of mine said the best way to do a business deal or understand a person is sit across the table from them, shake their hands, and look them in the eye.
Absolutely. The windows of the soul never deceive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Absolutely.
I think we've forgotten in a lot of ways to do that, because we can type something, press send, bing, it's gone. And then you walk away and do something else. But that lands in somebody's inbox, and it can be misconstrued. It can upset them. Or, I mean, when you send lovely messages with lots of emojis and love and things like that, that's wonderful. But sometimes it's just as nice and just as good to pick up the phone and say, I love you, when you hear those words from that person. And it's the
Yeah.
same when we give messages. I wonder if the spirit world would actually latch onto the technology and push all our us mediums, make us redundant, and start using technology to say I love you, I'm still here. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Mm, absolutely. Absolutely. Lots of lovely comments coming in. Stay sure. Good morning. Hello.
Morning, Stace.
Clara commented, absolutely, Clara. Carl Jung was one of the progenitors, originators, fathers of the use of the word ego in his work. And it literally is from the Latin. The word ego is Latin and it means self. It is the mind, it is the personality, which is what we are at our core. Spirits see the mind and the personality and the thought. They don't give a what's it about what we're wearing and what we look like. They just see who we are in our heart. And if we were to take that lead and see each other's motivations, each other's drives, each other's ambitions, feelings, and emotions, then we would see the true self. And we would use that word as a dirty word, as she said, in spiritualism means arrogance. We would stop using that word in that way. There are people with an overinflated ego in every walk of life, but equally, there are people with an underdeveloped sense of self, an underdeveloped ego. We should be lifting them up, not censoring them by saying, oh, you should be careful what you say. It might come across wrong. A medium friend of mine used to say that, Trevor, easing God out, edging God out. Whereas there is an element to that, it's only half the story. Everything exists on a spectrum, not a black and white or on and off button. Too much ego will ease God out, and it'll ease everybody out as well. But not enough of it, and you're not giving yourself the time of day. It's an awareness of self, is what ego is, and actually, ego is one of the 12 spiritual senses. It's one of the 12 human senses. ego as in awareness of self. As you said right at the get-go, Karen, if you're not aware of yourself, how can you keep yourself in check? And that's one of
Absolutely,
the
absolutely.
oxymorons, is one of my favorite words, oxymorons or misconceptions and contradictions that we get faced with, that we must keep our ego in check, but we can't be aware of ourselves. And that's the danger. That's the risk.
Actually, I want to go back to what Eunice said. She was talking about a couple can say 100 words. And do you know what? That's so true. You know,
Yes.
when you send somebody a cuddle or a hug, and I know we have these wonderful emojis, but there's only, out of all the emojis that people use, I think I only know about 6 of them, what they actually mean. And a hug is one of them, and I always use that, and obviously a heart. But all these funny faces and things, I know we can be very expressive with our faces, but a lot of the emojis I don't know what they are. But I use the ones that relate to what I'm trying to say when I do text. I just also want to mention Jay said that she's been she'd been handed a redundancy today. But then she put up another comment. She said, "There's other plans for me." And sometimes it's how we look at things as well. So I want to send a big hug to Jay and love your positive outlook there. You're thinking, well, yes, it is hard when you've been redundant. I've been there. I know what it's like, Jay. So I'm with you on that. I'm sending you a little bit of support, but just look at it in a different way and think about how that can help you. Um, it was a change for me, and thank God it was a good change. It took me out of my comfort zone, if you like, and it's pushed me in a different direction, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So it's interesting how all
Amen.
these things, yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to say, yeah.
So we are actually finishing at 12 o'clock today. So we are now going to start communicating with the world of spirit and give you some messages. I'm very much aware that it is my turn to start this week because I kind of shebanged you into it. So we are just going to take a quick moment to, wet the palate and anything else. And we're just going to take a quick break with these messages, and we'll be right back with messages from the great beyond. We'll see you in a moment.
Introducing the SPTV app, your digital spiritual guide, for an enlightening journey like no other. Immerse yourself in a world of audio and visual content crafted to inspire, educate, and entertain. Seek guidance with our card of the day, choosing up to 6 cards for personal insights. Enhance your daily life with our wellness section, featuring nutritious recipes, affirmations, and balanced living tips. Explore our spiritualism section for a deep understanding of the religion, its principles, and spiritual answers. Unravel the secrets of the clairs and broaden your spiritual horizon. Easily find local readers, therapists, centers, or churches with our comprehensive directory. Stay connected with live broadcasts, check our schedule, and get to know our insightful presenters. Delve into the meanings of angel numbers, crystals, and a comprehensive list of divination meanings. All of this and more, available for free on the SPTV app. Download now at sptv.uk/app and start your journey with your digital spiritual guide.
And we're back after that lovely little advert break. And while Nick's just getting himself together and sending out the intention to connect with loved ones from spirit, I just want to tell everybody that tomorrow, Tuesday at 7 p.m, we have the wonderful Ashley Robinson on SPTV with special guest Neil Bryan. So don't forget, 7 p.m. Tomorrow with Ashley Robinson. So now it's over to that's his new time. So now over to you, Nick.
Excellent. Thank you, my darling. Oh, it's funny. s- one of the strange things about linking in is that it's always different. And I actually felt the connection come in as Richard was counting the video down. And as soon as he hit and one and you're live, suddenly I felt this judder, and it was wonderful. And this gentleman who's stepping forward has such a passionate, uplifting feeling about him, even though, and I think it kind of ties in with what we were talking about, or somebody was talking about. I can't remember exactly because everything's gone a bit blurry. This gentleman suffered with aches and pains, and I'm feeling things wrong everywhere. But he still managed to keep a smile on his face. He still managed to keep glowing. He still managed to cheer everybody else up in spite of his own difficulties. As he steps closer forward, I am aware that there is a condition around the lungs that would have ultimately been the thing that caused his ascension to the world of spirit. I'm also very much aware that he is a very deliberate speaker in terms of the way. I mean, we all know what Nick's like. Nick's been ranting all morning. He's not as fast paced as speaking. Everything was well thought. Everything was precise. Everything was deliberate. And I can feel my way of speaking taking that tack and that tone and that inflection in terms of how he would have addressed and spoken to you in a nice, soft, gentle voice, and would have made sure that he was aware of what he was saying. As he draws even closer, I'm aware of a father grandfather. I feel more towards the grandfather. But I do feel very fatherly. So if I'm wrong about the grandfather, it will be because there's a bit of distance, either emotionally, but I don't think it's emotion, or physical distance in terms of not being able to be in touch for a period of time as much as he would like to. And again, I'm still feeling that very deliberate way of speaking. Alison Plumley says, I lost uncle who had lung cancer. That would fit with the emotional connection that I felt. Would you understand the deliberate and gentle way of speaking? Would you understand that he was someone who thought about what he said? Christina Warnick says, Dad passed from his lungs. Again, if you could confirm whether the other stuff fits as well, that would be a great help. Thank you. And Caitlin says, I think my granddad had lung problems. However, I think he hid them from the family, which ties in with the first piece. If those that have answered to do with the lungs could address the speech mannerisms, also there would be a, oh, hello. There would also be a connection. Thank you. Of course I did. February would be an important month around him or yourself. And I'm also aware of, thank you. Somebody gave this the other day. There would have been a problem with the speech at the end. Either his mouth was so dry he couldn't speak, or he would have actually completely lost his voice or his ability to speak, either through some connected medical condition. But I do feel that there was a restriction to his speak as well. Alison Plumley saying yes, is very well spoken. You would also, just to confirm whoever this is for, he's not very impressed with me. Oh dear, I really have got to tidy up now. He's looking around at my desk, and I keep lots of stuff on my desk. I'm very untidy. And he's feeling physically nauseous at how I can work in absolute anarchy and chaos. He is not impressed with me whatsoever. So he would have prided himself on being organized. He would have prided himself on being, able to organize things. Alison can take fair beauty. If you can take that connection with being really disappointed in me being so disorganized, I think I'm veering towards that. Emphysema, February is his daughter-in-law, my twin's birthday. Right. Okay. This part about really, and he's being quite blunt about it. He's not being rude, but he's saying, "Oh, how can you? It makes me feel physically ill. I can't work like this." An absolute frustration. And I do know that he would have traveled a lot, or there would have been very important, significant traveling. I'm seeing a passport, so I feel it would have been overseas in terms of the significant traveling. So either he was very well traveled, or there would have been a very vital, important trip overseas with this gentleman, specifically this gentleman, not in any way connected at all. So if anyone can accept that, then I think that will help me identify who I'm actually with, and then I can give you the message, because he's getting a little bit impatient, actually, which is, you know, he's not showing it. I can feel it bubbling, and it's kind of like he would keep that. Right, Alison, thank you everyone for shouting out. I do feel drawn to Alison with this one, and I do feel that I'm kind of resonating. If I'm wrong, keep listening, but I'm going to be addressing this to Alison now. And of course, you'll get another chance for another message a couple of times more before we go home today. But Alison, if I can come to you, you would understand that you have been dealing with a lot of headaches, and I don't necessarily mean physical ones. I feel that there's a lot of emotional and people related headaches in your life. It's not about medical conditions, it's about emotional frustrations. And he's saying that she's had a lot of headaches to deal with lately. And of course, those emotional frustrations can lead to literal headaches. That's why we use that term. And I do feel that it's almost, what is showing me is that you just feel like sometimes you want to go in a darkened room, blot out the windows, blot out all the sound, put some sunglasses on for extra double strength, and just sit there and just be and breathe. And if you haven't felt like this is what he's saying you should be doing for a minute at least a day. Just blot out all of the headaches, take over your life, he says, because he's concerned that you're letting other people's I will rephrase that. You're letting other people's mess take over your own life. And he says, whilst it's great to help people, you can't help people if it takes over and brings you down. So he's just talking about taking these quiet times to just be yourself because of these enforced people headaches. If you can understand that, Alison, just let me know. Because he's considering it the most important thing for you is to just take some time out and he went on the plane with his two children. Thank you, Alison. If you can understand this bit about the headache that you're enduring. Oh, yes, that's right. Okay. What he's saying is just take that moment. I know, I'm going to get in trouble for I should get shares in this poem. He's reminding me, of course, cluster headaches, Alison, bless your heart. Well, healing on the way, and I'll put you in the healing book after as well. He's talking about, where was that? That's just, give me a second, it's just slipped past. Yes, thank you, well done. The poem Desiderata, go placidly amidst the noise and haste and know what peace there may be in silence. That's been coming up a lot lately. And I think it's a really, really good lesson to just, and I can see now, as you've said about cluster headaches, where he's saying put some sunglasses on in a dark room, because that's what you've been feeling the need for. But I do feel there's an emotional connection to it that's either exacerbating it or making it worse. And it is possible that it might even be the originator of the issue. But he wants you to take time for you, time to be you, to nurture you. Thank you. he's just, I love this guy because he's so sweet and gentle in his chastising. Oh, whoops. I thought I turned all the volumes off there. Apologies. He just turned around and he said to me, "Oh, bless your heart. Well, you're definitely in the healing book then." He's just said to me, "You need to do what I need to do as an individual," and he means me. And that's just sometimes take a deep breath. He doesn't like the fact that I speak so fast because he likes things to be paced and steady and deliberate. And he's saying this is how he managed with his situations, his aches and his pains. And he wants to offer you that as a solution to yours. Be paced, be deliberate, take your time, slow things down and be more gentle. And I feel that when he was giving you advice, there was this soothing, there's something so soothing about his voice. It feels like honey dripping down the back of your throat when you got a rough throat. It's just this gentleness and this peace and this pace that he wants to provide to you. So he will be stood behind you for the rest of the day, providing that healing. Go with the flow, exactly, Alison. He does offer a great deal of support and a lot of healing for you at this time. He'll be right behind you every step of the way. But please, please, please take his advice. Let that slowness and that stillness draw, and have a read of Desiderata too, because I feel that that would resonate with him absolutely perfectly. And what a wonderful guy if that's the case. So thank you, Alison. I'll say God bless you. And thank you for listening.
Oh, that was lovely. That was really lovely, Nick. A beautiful message for Alison. As I was sitting here, I was aware of a lady that draws close to me, and I know that she's mum. And I also feel here that she had quite a few issues going on with her health. I feel that she would have suffered with some sort of COPD condition, emphysema, because I know that she would have had some, the breathing apparatus up her nose because my nose felt very uncomfortable. And I also could hear the gurgling of the nebulizer. So I know that she would have had to have had a nebulizer. And I do feel that she was admitted into hospital quite a few times. And I also feel that she had to have this equipment at home towards the end of her life. I do feel that there was a lot of frustration with her, and I also feel that she got very emotional to do with her health conditions. And I feel that that people around her, her family, were very, very gentle with her as she sort of, she sort of deteriorated. I do feel here that she just wants to come in to say that she's well and that she's okay now and she's back to being how she used to be. I also feel that when she was well, I feel that she really enjoyed her life. She could be a little bit outspoken sometimes, and she would say it as it was. But there was a lot of love that she felt for her family, and I feel that if somebody was sort of upset within the family or there was something going on, I'm being aware that the claws would come out, and she'd be like that mama cat. She'd be very, very protective of her young. I also know here that she would have had some issues with her legs too and her back. So she had lots of health issues going on. So Gemma, you can understand it. It sounds like your stepmom. Well, that's fine because mum is a mum at the end of the day. I just feel here that she just wants to say thank you to you or to whoever looked after her, because somebody definitely stepped up to give her the support that she needed. And I know Nick was sort of like saying that people had to sort of explain things in a very calm way. And I feel that sometimes she needed that calmness. She needed to be at one level because I feel that if she got a bit stressed, it would affect her conditions, like sort of like panic attacks. I feel that she also suffered with those panic attacks when things didn't go quite the way that she wanted. I also feel here that there was she's laughing in a funny sort of way because she's talking about getting ready to go on some sort of outing. So I feel she desperately wanted to attend something. So I feel it was a family gathering. And I feel that she had to take all her, she's calling it her paraphernalia, which is a wonderful word. Her paraphernalia had to go with her, which she means her medication, her nebulizers, and all the bits and bobs. And she said, "Oh my goodness," and I can see her trying to get in the car with all her stuff, and it was a little bit of, it was, you can understand all of this, okay? And she's laughing because she said something nearly got caught in the door. Somebody went to slam the door, and some sort of tubing or something got caught in the door, and somebody went, "Don't shut," and in the end they laughed about it, which sort of like made her laugh. But she said, "Oh, I'll never forget it." She said, "But I was so determined that I wanted to go out." And she said, "I didn't want to look a sight either." So I feel this is the terminology that she would have used: paraphernalia, sight. I don't want to look a sight. I want to try and look my best. And I feel that it was important to her that she got a nice new frock to go to this gathering, and because she didn't want people to feel sorry for her. She said, "I'm me at the end of the day, and that's the most important thing. I want people to still remember me, who I was, not who I am now." And I feel that was really, really important to her. And she said, "You know what? You always remembered who I was." And she just wants to send you lots of love, Gemma, because she said, "You are my wonderful daughter." And she didn't want any of that name, the step bit. You were her daughter, and she loved you to bits. And I just feel that you helped her get to this event, this gathering, and she'll be forever grateful to you. And I feel that she wants to give you a little bit of support at this moment and a little bit of love. And also, I feel there's an anniversary coming up at the end of this month. I'm getting the 30th, 31st of August. So I know there's an anniversary or a birthday coming up. And she just wants to send love there. I do feel that she loves cake because I think this celebration or anniversary must be a birthday because I'm just seeing this lovely birthday cake. So I feel that there may be cake involved, and I do feel that she did love a gooey cake. The gooier, the better. In fact, it looks like more of a gatto to me. So I feel that there would have been times when you and her would have gone out for a great big slab of gooey cake. And I just feel that she's just sending that memory to you. All right, her tube got caught. Okay. And she's just coming here with a great deal of love for you. So take her love, Gemma. And she said, not all the memories are sad ones. We had some happy times as well. And she wants you to think of those. And she's just sending love to you and to all of the family. So take her love. Take her love.
Beautiful. Well done, mate. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
My pleasure.
Right. Yes. It is getting close to time, and we've got a couple of reminders coming up. And as well as sending healing to all those that have asked for it, can we please send some healing to Richard as well? Because not only has he had to put up with my voice in his ear for the last hour and a half, he got a headache. So please send some, because I probably have exacerbated it too, knowing my dulcet tones. So we are going to start winding up now. Thank you all for being with us today. We are back next week, of course. The lovely Karen Wood and myself will be joining you at 10:30 next week. We do have the wonderful guest, the lovely Chris Jacobs, joining us for conversation and mediumship. There will also be some other special announcements as well. Please do not miss next week. It's going to be wild. Yeah, it is going to be wild. So do not miss next week. Share, let everybody know that we're here. And of course, don't forget that you've got the lovely Ashley Robinson tomorrow night with guest in his new time slot. And just keep the faith and keep the word spreading. And no matter what language or terminology you use, so long as you do it with compassion, honesty and truth, you'll never go far wrong.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful to be with you all this morning. Continue to send that healing to everybody that you know, and also to our Richard, because he does need a little bit at the moment. And we will be back with you next week with Chris Jacobs with some more fun and frolics. Another good word, frolics, to start your day. Frolics, different. To start your day and to start your week, and whatever you're doing. If I said something wrong, whatever you're doing, enjoy what you're doing. I think I've started Nick off now, or one of us has, I can't remember. But enjoy what you're doing and have a fantastic week until we meet same time, same channel next week. So lots of love, everybody. And so it's good. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from her. God bless. We'll see you all next week.